Hello everyone, myself Krishna, and this is my submission video for the AI and Blockchain Hackathon organized by NullShot, which is season 0 to build an agent or MCP utility. So I'll be the submission would be for track 1, which is the agents using the NullShot framework. And the NullShot framework that I'll be using is the TypeScript agent toolkit, uh, following the docs as per the NullShot agent. So uh, let's let's get directly into the problem and solution. But before that, let me introduce myself. So I'm Krishna. I'm a open source developer, mostly contributing to a product under the Linux Foundation Decentralized Trust, and the problems that I have faced are mostly related to open source contributors as well as open source maintainers. For maintainers to be able to um ease to be able to provide ease for them to manage the PRs coming in, and in terms of contributors to have a transparent reward system powered by blockchain, and to have a proper feedback for each PRs using the agent. So the problem statement is open source maintainers, which is an autonomous AI maintainer for open source. Since we know that open source powers most of the web that we know of, and open source maintainers and contributors are usually overlooked, but the solution that we'll be providing is mostly to focus on these open source entities and developers who work tirelessly to get things shipped. So what the problem statement is, so the problem statement that we have specifically narrowed down to is providing proper feedback to all the PRs that are being merged, as well as to reward them transparently using blockchain. Let us first understand what all key components are we using. So the key components that we'll be using is the AI agent, which is of course powered by the NullShot TypeScript agent framework. Then we have the Web3 layer, which we would be using to distribute bounties, uh, with integration for the with the Monad testnet using third web APIs. We'll be bridging all this using the GitHub APIs, and all the most of the backend stuff we'll be doing using the Nest.js backend. So this is the tech stack. To be specific, the AI model that we'll be using is Anthropic smart contract were deployed and will be consumed using Solidity, Remix, and the third web. We have the AI agent as described from the NullShot TypeScript agent framework. Blockchain that we are currently using is the Monad testnet. However, as the solution is intended, uh, different open source repositories and maintainers can choose the blockchain uh, of their choice, since third web has provided that abstraction to be able to use any blockchain available. And for integration, we have used the GitHub REST API and the third web API. Yeah, so let's get started with the demo. But before that, let me maybe quickly give a walkthrough of what all different repositories do we have. So first of all, we have the NullShot OpenMaintainer. So this comprises of the Nest.js backend, the Nest.js backend. Then we have the agent, which includes all the NullShot TypeScript agent utility, and NullShot agent was like quite easy to set up. I simply followed this docs provided on the NullShot website. I, to be honest, faced a bit difficulty when integrating the open AI model, but the help provided on Discord was like quite helpful. I got my issue resolved. Actually, I reverted back to Anthropic, but the community support that I got was like quite fast in terms of like the NullShot community on Discord. So shout out to them as well. So then we have the contracts which are being deployed on the Monad testnet. This is the contract that we have deployed. These are the transactions that we can see. The contract, to be specific, is this one, which we have again included in the contract section. And then we have the front end, which is the AI maintainer UI. We'll be having a look at this. So the UI would look something like this with all our PRs. Yeah, and this is the backend that we have. These are the different APIs that we'll be consuming. All right, uh, that's great. So let's get started. So this was the TypeScript agent toolkit that we were using. So let's get started. For demo purpose, I'll be creating the PR request here itself. So, um, so the usual workflow would be we'll be creating the open source maintainers would be creating any issue on the GitHub repo, and then the contributors like myself would be coming in and provide a PR for the issue linked to it. So the next usual step would be, so let's suppose this one. So the next step, apart from just adding a PR, would be the contributors would also be needed to have their address added as well. So why the address? Because whenever the PR would get merged, the contributors would be rewarded on this specific address. As we can see, uh, as a maintainer, I have reviewed, say for example, I have reviewed this PR, and I think like the changes are fine to get merged. What I'll be doing is I'll be adding a label which is ready for reward, and then I'll also add from the different labels available. I'll also add whatever tag I think is fine for the effort required to make this PR. Of course, the AI can always override this, because the NullShot agent would be the one deciding how much effort was being put based on the different parameters that we saw earlier, and the NullShot agent would be the one deciding what the reward amount would be. So as a maintainer, this was the last step that we have done. uh, since this already has an address, we can then move on to the open source maintainer. All this process of rewarding can also be automated by adding webhooks, that if a PR gets merged, we can simply distribute the reward. But for the demo purposes, let's just say that this was the PR that we were looking into. By the way, this is the we'll quickly have a walk of the OpenMaintainer dashboard. So we can see the network that the maintainer have integrated is the Monad testnet. This is the Monad testnet. On the Explorer, we can again see the balance. This is the treasury balance. So this is the actual balance, or this is the actual tokens that I have printed on the Monad testnet. These are some different statistics. Uh, the suggested bounty, we have just added dummy data right now here. Uh, we can see the PR is ready for reward. this would be a closed and completed PR. For now we have added some dummy values here. All right, so let's get started. Maybe let's start with releasing the reward. Before we release the reward, let us check the labels here are ready for reward, which looks good. We have the right address for the contributor. Yeah, that's awesome. So what would happen when we release the reward? So when we release the reward, we would be making call to our backend, and backend would be doing certain things. So backend would be checking if the PR is marked ready for reward, uh, which is the base requirement for now, for the contributors to get rewarded. But in future what we can do is we can even integrate the nullshot agent here to directly uh, review the PRs and mark them ready for reward. So for now, as the maintainer has marked the PR as ready for reward, we'll be checking that. The next step would be we'll be checking if a valid address is provided in the PR description, which is quite essential for now, as we'll be distributing the bounty or the reward to the contributor to that specific address. So once that is done, we'll generate a summary from the nullshot agent on what should be the reward amount be. We'll also be adding in the specified range that the maintainer has suggested. So in this case the maintainer has suggested a easy PR, and each PR, as we saw in the bounty.md, uh, as we saw like in the bounty.md, each tag relates to a certain range of token, which are the open source tokens that we have generated to be issued. So in this case it's an easy PR. So the range that we have specified will be 50 to 150, but of course this can change and the agent would understand like the change. So let's get started. I'll release the reward on chain. All right, so once the agent does all the computation, our backend would understand what the actual uh, amount to be rewarded is, and we'll be making the transaction on the monad testnet to release that specific amount to the address that the contributor has provided. And we'll also be updating all these things on the GitHub repository as well. So as we can see, the reward has been released, and we can definitely go on to the transaction and we can see that transaction has been completed. If we have a look at the input, we can see that 100 OSST, which is our native token, open source software tokens, has been rewarded. Now let's just go back to the PR. So this was the PR that we saw. So we can see that rewarded label has been added. I'll just quickly refresh this. So we can see that after the computation from the agent, rewarded label has been updated, and also quite like a decent summary of what the changes were, and on what basis we have decided on 100 open source software tokens is added along with the transaction. So as we can see, a neat summary has been added to what the changes were and why the specific reward amount was decided, along with the transaction, along with the monad testnet transaction that we get the link to. This way we ensure that there is transparency to the amount that is being paid to the contributor, and also a proper summary is being provided. So this is actually the same transaction that we saw from the UI. So yeah, this was mostly the solution that we had. uh, and to add like future scope, also like to add is that as I mostly work on the intersection of open source and web3, uh, after talking with certain contributors and maintainers of a few of the best blockchains in industry, we have come to realize that it's quite difficult to maintain transparency as well as to provide proper incentives to contributors to contribute to core um, components of the blockchain or any other projects or any other open source project for that matter. And since open source is like just this great thing, it's quite essential to maintain that ethos and also to have a transparency in to have like this transparency in the distribution mechanism. But if we have a look at the future scope, there are many other things that can also be added to this specific product, and it can literally be transpiled or can be uh, looked at as a complete standalone product. So what we can be doing is we can also have a contributor reputation and insight. So each contributor, we can have a map and we can have a summary of what kind of or what quality of contributions they are making. Also, since most of the open source project has doesn't have might not have a single contributor, they might have a range of maintainers. So in that case, or say suppose in case of the Linux Foundation decentralized trust, there might also be an addition of a DAO specific body which can then allocate rewards to specific projects, and then all the contributions can be done based on whatever the DAO approves on. Later on, we can also have a dispute resolution mechanism as well, wherein say suppose a contributor can challenge if they need to be rewarded something else, or if they wanted to like get rewarded maybe more based on the contribution. So we can have a completely different mechanism for that as well. Apart from that, uh, usually or there might be a case for an open source project might have more than one repository. So in that case, there can also be multiple like Asian collaboration happening between different repositories as well, um to orchestrate like what issues we can create, and how should a specific reward be calculated and so on. And apart from this, we can also have some form of a decentralized agent marketplace for open source maintainers. So say suppose a small maintainer might not be able to have their own infrastructure running for all these agents, or say suppose they want to ease things out. So in that case, maybe some other contributors can provide them with this AI agent according to their specific use case, maybe according to their specific tech stack, and that can also be a different direction that we can grow into. So these are actually the various future scope. And to be honest, this project is like quite close to me as well, as this is something that I deal or that I work on in a daily basis. So I'll also be thinking of taking this forward as well. Yeah. So thank you once again to NullShot, Eden Layer, and Third Web for this wonderful opportunity to like hacking this solution together. Thank you.